Bloodborne, 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 Bloodborne. I get it. You all want Bloodborne. Well, today's the day. Yep. Look what we have here. Bloodborne. Let's take a look, shall we? Welcome home, good hunter. A painter must paint. It's not like Jon Snow, actually, doesn't it? A painter must paint. You are my hunter. Right, so let's take a look what we get in here. Instruction manual, of course. Plethora of tiles and tokens. Hunter dashboards. Hundreds of playing and action cards. Noola barking. Boss cards. These look like situational cards. It looks more similar to like Dead of Winter than the Dark Souls board game. But more importantly, aside from all of that, what minis do we get? That's what you all care about, isn't it, really? Well, fear not, good hunter. Let's just go from the top down. We get Father Gascoigne. Okay. Nice little Father Gascoigne. Father Gascoigne transformed. So there he is in his beast phase. We get the sort of beast, the male beasts, your classic gribbly enemies. We get the female beast patients. Now we have the hunters. And here we have Ludwig's Holy Blade Hunter. Everybody's favourite. A hunter axe hunter. A threaded cane hunter. There we go. And finally we have a saw cleaver hunter. Now we're getting into the big boys. We have 4 scourge beasts. These motherfuckers. We get 4 church servants. I think we can do some really nice lighting stuff with these lanterns, you know. These guys that literally have the widest parry window in existence. We have these big brick boys, also known as a huntsman's minion. And they just go smack, smack, smack. 4 of those. They're really nice minis, like really detailed. They got a good weight to them. You get these pain in the asses. 4 of these guys, these hunters, mobs. Away! Away! You plague-ridden rat! You know? You get these, which are so cool, which are the church giants. You know, those big swinging boys. Away! Away! This son of a bitch, the blood-staffed beast. Now, on my first playthrough of Bloodborne, I think when I first played it, I think I gave up a blood-staffed beast. This was many years back. I remember just being like, nope, f this game, I'm out. When I eventually went back to Bloodborne and I beat this guy, I was like, oh, what the hell was I so worried about? Like, just get good at parrying. Just get good at parrying. And you can parry this son of a bitch. An absolute fan favorite, Vicar Amelia. She is a tremendous boss. Awesome environment, awesome attacks, awesome lore, and also another one that gave me a significant headache. Pretty cool so far. And last but not least, the Screamy Boy. And you know who that is, the Cleric Beast. Look at that model. That is a seriously good looking model. So much detail gone into it. It's got really good weight to it. It feels really nice and sturdy and got these awesome tendrils, is that the word? Tendrils coming off of the arm here. So yeah. And that is what you get in the main box of the Bloodborne board game. So who do we paint first? I think let's start off with Vicar Amelia. We have Vicar Amelia primed and ready to go. First things first, I'm gonna highlight her with some white ink, Liquitex white ink. Now we can see what we've done here. I'm gonna zoom you in. And we can see here that we've got highlights coming down from top down and it's blending into the darker areas down here, which sort of gives you that really nice gothic contrast. So for the fur, we're going to need some Corax white. It's a mix of greys, so it's Ministratum grey, probably Celestra grey, more cast bone. It's quite nice for the sort of wraps that she has around her. Mornfang brown, maybe some Wraithbone, Skaven Blight dinge, Storm Vermin fur, some Abaddon black for shading. Coagulated blood is going to play a big part in doing a lot of these minis. Let's get painting. start off painting the main part of the fur. I think I'm going to start off by painting it with some Administratum grey, keeping it nice and thin so we don't really lose our shading underneath. Ever since getting into the Fromsoftware franchise, I always had Dark Souls 1 listed as my all-time favourite game, because it's the one that sort of like impacted me the most and sort of hit me the most in the emotions. So I always heralded that as like untouchable, it's the best one. But after playing Bloodborne a couple of times, man, I really got to say, I think Bloodborne is the greatest Fromsoftware title. Every boss feels like its own challenge. It doesn't feel like things are repeated. It doesn't feel like anything was, sort of copied and pasted and reused. Every area felt authentic and genuine and packed with character and story. I'm hugely into Lovecraftian literature. I got the entire Lovecraft works for my birthday one year. I'm massively into horror, I'm massively into cosmology. I love the idea of there being things that humans cannot mentally and physically comprehend in this universe. The whole concept and story of Cthulhu. And that resonates so strongly through the idea of us ascending into great ones. And those topics that I love so much resonate so much throughout Bloodborne. Love Gothic architecture and things like that. Back in the day, in my early teen years, I was embarrassingly emo. I had the full black fringe, the black and white checkered scarves. No matter how much I've changed since then, I've always really appreciated Gothic nature and Gothic architecture and stories and styles, music as well. Just all of those things combined is just hits every note in Bloodborne so well. So yeah, that's just my take on Bloodborne as a game, How do you guys feel about Bloodborne? Like, where does it sit on your scale of Fromsoftware titles? So there we have our first base coat of Administratum Grey over our Zenithal highlight. I think we'll base the cloth around her now, and I think I'm gonna start with a layer of Moorcast bone, I reckon. Nice and thin, and it should react relatively nice to the shading underneath. I think I'm gonna base the antlers. I'm gonna base them with the storm vermin fur. Antlers based. I'm just gonna move on to the skin and use some of this dinge colour to do that. Now that we've got the skin with the storm vermin fur, nice and thin, and now we're gonna do the fur top here with some Corax white. We have it all pretty much based. All that's left to base is the nose, the ears, the teeth and the mouth. Yeah, so let's get on to doing that. So the mouth, I'm just going to line the gums. Sounds awfully suspect, doesn't it? I'm going to line the gums with some Abaddon Black. Okay, gums done. Over the nose. It's a lovely face. So teeth, I'm going to base with some Moorcast bone. There you go, teeth done. So that's pretty much everything based except the wraps around her arms, because I'm going to leave them until I've painted the arms and then I can go over them. So I think I'm going to move on to adding in different colours onto the fur. So we based it with Administratum grey, and I'm going to move on and do some Celestra grey. I'm just going to start adding these strokes on. Here we have some Celestra grey. Just subtle additions of different tones. Once that's done, we're gonna go to the storm vermin again, which we used for the basing of the skin. I'm gonna just add a couple strokes to the sort of darker areas, the lower parts of the fur, and we can sort of mix them together on the wet palette to create some mid-tones between these and start mixing between them. So you're slowly getting some subtle build-ups of tone onto it. Getting there. We'll really start to see the difference when we get some darker shades on, and then pump it up with some Corax white to really highlight it as well. It'll really start to bring this piece together. That's the next batch of colour on. I'm going to go in into this Skaven Blight dinge, and this will really just be accentuating sort of the much lower parts of the fur. Just making these lower regions a bit dingier, a bit dirtier. There we go. See the sort of extra layers we're adding in now. So what I'm going to do with that being done, I'm going to take some Corax White, and this will be to really bring out some bright strands in here. This is how the fur's looking. Yeah, looking quite cool. With the fur slash hair slash whatever you want to call it done, I'm going to add in detailing to the cloth. So we based it with Moorcast bone, and now I'm going to add in some thin Mournfang brown. And remember, keeping it thin is key, because you can see it's left behind nice little shaded regions that we can start using to detail in the darker shades. And then we can do a 50-50 mix between Moorcast bone and Mournfang brown. I'm sort of mixing between this and that. And I've sort of got a good mid-tone there. Make sure it's thinned out before applying to sort of blend between these two. Then we can add some glazes and things to just make sure it really blends nicely together. Okay, now that we've got those colours done, that's how the cloth's looking. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get some Wraithbone, and this will be the highlight for this cloth. And this is going to go kind of on the edges. Okay, I think we can call it there on the cloth on the back. Now what I'm probably going to do is I'm just going to black line around the inner ear, just to break it up from the white fur. Ear's done. So with that, let's do the shades of the fur of the head. So it's painted with Corax White, so let's mix in some Wraithbone. Still want to keep this light, mind you, like we don't want it dark up here. But this should just at least add a bit of colour, so it's not, you know, pure brilliant white. There's a bit of off colour in it as well. What I will do for the bottom of the ears is I'll do very thin Mournfang brown. Yeah, I think we'll do the same around the face as well. Just like where the sort of fur meets the lips, we'll do some dark Mournfang brown. Maybe where the fur meets the ear, sort of under the chin. And we can get some Abaddon Black, thin that puppy down, and just really go to these areas on the undersides of them, beef up those shadows slightly. Cool, very nice. And I'll just add a bit of Mournfang brown into these antlers, just for a little bit of colour variation. Cool. So we've got the face, the antlers, fur, and the cloth done. So let's finish off with doing the skin. And now I'm just going to add some shadows with the Abaddon Black into the mix, shall we? All into the areas most likely to not be affected by light as much. Cool. Let's paint the nails with some black as well. Give her a nice little manicure. No, pedicure. Pedicure's feet, isn't it? Give her a nice little pedicure. There we go. Now for the wraps on the hands, Moorcast bone. Just be careful to not try and overspill onto the arms. I think we're nearly there, you know? I think we're nearly there. I'm gonna take some coagulated blood. A little shakeroo. Just get some blood onto that there. I'm just gonna start dotting it just around parts of like her wraps, maybe on the hands. And this stuff has really cool texture, so that whereby if you add more layers, not only do you get more blood colour, but you get more blood density. So it sort of like pulls into thick, gloopy blood. Perfect for anything Bloodborne related. Cool. Hey, that's my girl right there. That's a job jobbed, and I think we can call it there. That, my friends, is the first instalment of the Bloodborne board game. A little close-up of how she's turned out. Nice bit of blood on her. We've got some cool detailings on the hair and the cloth. I think it's relatively in keeping with how she looks. You can sort of see here, if I do that, the blood effects that have been taking place. Voila! Vicar Amelia. And that's pretty much all there is to it. So I think I'm gonna give you a bon voyage. So yeah, like I was saying, I hope you enjoyed today's first installment of the Bloodborne board game. Every week from now, I will be doing all of the characters from the Bloodborne board game. I will also be looking into the expansions as well. So to just sort of keep this Bloodborne train rolling. But that's it from me. I'll see you, good hunters, next time. Fight the good fight, hunt the good hunt, and brush your teeth, wipe your bum, and I'll see you hunters in the next one. Okay, bye. Yeah. Oh, Christ. Okay. Smooth. Well, thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in, as always. I hope you enjoyed today's first episode of Bloodborne Sundays with our very good friend, Vicar Amelia. If you did enjoy it, please be sure to smash that like button, drop a comment, and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Be sure to come back next Sunday for more Bloodborne Models. Peace out, gang, and don't you dare go hollow.